Hey guys, it's Clara from Online Fabric Store. Burlap sunflower wreaths are very popular, but why not make a burlap flower for every season? Along with the summery sunflower, I'm going to show you how to make a daisy for spring, a poinsettia for winter, and a flower fit for fall. So let's get started. The materials you'll need are burlap, a hot glue gun, cardboard, scissors, twine, and clips. Cut out a circle of cardboard that's about 10 inches in diameter. You can also use foam core or rigid plastic. To make a loop for hanging, poke 2 holes near the top. Feed a piece of twine through the holes and knot it on the other side. Cut out 2 circles of burlap and hot glue them to each side. Trim the burlap close to the cardboard. There are many ways to form the leaves and petals. I'll start with the most common method and also show other ways to make the petals for different flowers. Cut squares of the leaf color and the petal color that are each 11.5 to 12 inches. You'll need 6 of the leaf color and 24 of the petal color. The exact size of the squares doesn't matter, so use a measurement that you can get as many pieces out of the width as you can. Cut along the grain of the burlap to minimize fraying. You can also use burlap ribbon for the squares, but burlap fabric is the more economical choice. The leaves and petals are both created in the same way for this summer sunflower. Fold the corners into the center. Pinch the center to create one pleat. Pinch the burlap on both sides of the first pleat and hold the folds together. It may be helpful to use clips as you go to hold the burlap together, especially the first couple times you do it. On the front, hot glue between all the folds. Do the same between the folds on the back. Put hot glue on the middle of one of the sides and fold it in half. Clip the folded end while the glue dries. Repeat for a total of 6 leaves. Glue the leaf pieces evenly around the edge of the backing. Create a total of 24 petals using the same method as before. Glue 2 petals between the leaves further in from the edge. Create a second layer by gluing the remaining 12 petals between the first layer of petals. Place this layer a little further in and also glue between the petals. This method of creating petals works well for sunflowers, and I also used it for my fall flower. I used light, medium, and dark natural shades of burlap. For this flower, I used 12 pieces on the bottom layer instead of 6. There are other ways to create leaves and petals for different flowers. To make the spring daisy, cut squares that are 15.5 to 16 inches. You'll need 3 squares for the leaves and 12 for the petals. For the leaves, fold the square in half diagonally. Fold the side corners down to the middle corner and glue. Turn the piece over and bring the side corners into the center and glue. Arrange the leaves on the back. I'm making them asymmetrical, but you can space them evenly or add more leaves if you prefer. Hold the piece vertically before gluing to make sure the leaves near the top don't flop down. Move them in further to the center of the backing if they do. I didn't check this before gluing, but the glue hadn't dried all the way, so I could remove and reposition the leaves easily. Glue the leaves down. Also glue between the loose layers. The daisy petals are very similar to the leaves. Fold the square diagonally and glue the corner. Place a line of glue from halfway down the side to the corner. Fold the top corner down and glue it to the bottom corner. Repeat for the other corner. If the layers aren't holding together, add more glue so the edges don't gap. Turn the piece over and put a line of glue down the side. Fold it so the entire edge is at the center. Repeat for the other edge. Fold the petal in half and glue the back edges together. Arrange the petals evenly with the ends at the center of the backing and glue them down. For the winter flower, I'm creating a poinsettia which has distinctive leaves. For the leaves, use 2 18-inch and 2 16-inch squares. Measure diagonally and find the midpoint. Without moving the center, rotate the ruler so it's about 1/2 inch from one of the corners. Place a line of glue along the ruler and stop at the center. Fold the square in half diagonally. This creates a center vein for the poinsettia leaves that's tapered so it gets bigger near the corner. Once the glue dries, unfold and glue it down diagonally in the opposite direction so the vein is in the center, facing up. Run a line of glue next to the vein. Fold the edge in so that a point is created. Do the same thing on the other side of the vein to complete the diamond-shaped leaf. The petals are made in the same way. Cut 3 16-inch and 4 12-inch squares for the petals. If you don't want to see the raw edges of the burlap, fold and glue the edges in about 1/4 inch on all sides of the square. You can do this on the leaves too if you prefer. The bits of glue that you can see through the burlap might look white. In this case, hold the metal tip of the hot glue gun on the glue to remelt it and it will dry clear. Make all the sizes of the leaves and petals in the same way. Position the leaves on the backing and make sure they don't flop down when held vertically. Put glue on the back of the leaves and attach to the backing. Also glue down any loose edges where the petals will be attached. Glue the larger petals, then the smaller petals in the same way. I'm going to show 3 ways of making centers for the flowers. For the burlap sunflower, cut 6 strips that are 4 inches wide. Fold the edges in about 1 inch, then glue and fold in half. Repeat for the rest of the pieces. Glue the ends of 3 of them together and clip. Braid the strands until you get near the ends. Attach the 3 remaining strips and continue braiding. Clip the ends together. Unclip the beginning of the braid and fold the end in. Wrap the braid in a spiral and glue in places as you go. Position the braid slightly lower every time you go around to create a domed shape. Tuck the ends under and glue. Glue around the edges on the back and place the center on the petals. For the daisy, I'm making a zigzag spiral. Fold and glue 4-inch strips in the same way as the sunflower center. You'll need at least 2 strips depending on how large you want the center. Fold the strips in a zigzag pattern that's 1.5 to 2 inches tall. Apply glue in each fold. Wrap the strips in a spiral, gluing as you go. The tops of the zigzags create petal-like shapes. Attach more strips as needed. Attach the end to the back, then glue the piece to the center of the daisy petals. For this one, I'm also gluing down the outer edges. I also used the zigzag method for the fall wreath. I made it just large enough to fit in the center of the petals. I like the orange color for fall, but I also made a white center using the braiding method. This could be used any time of year. Since they fit very snugly, I'm not going to glue them, so they can be changed out. I'm making 3 gold balls for the center of the poinsettia. This requires 2-inch foam balls in gold spray paint. Cut 3 6-inch squares of a yellow or natural burlap. Pinch the corners together and glue. Trim some of the extra fabric to reduce bulk. Continue to wrap the edges up and glue until it's relatively smooth. Cut off the extra burlap. Spray paint the balls gold and let them dry. Glue the balls together before attaching them to the center of the petals. These burlap flowers are ready to hang on the front door. They should be protected from weather, so if your door isn't under a porch or awning, they can be used indoors as wall decorations. Thanks for watching this OFS project.